Part 3. My perfect wife tricked me into raising her ex's baby for years. I only found out the truth at our family barbecue, then what happened next left everyone in shock. My neighbor, an elderly woman named Mrs. Chen, often invites Emma and me over for dinner on the weekends. I have her, saying every father and daughter needs a home-cooked meal. These small kindnesses help balance out the bitterness. On a brighter note, Emma is thriving in school. Her teacher told me she recently did a family tree project where she drew two dads, one she called my dad, me, and one she called my other dad, Michael. When the teacher asked her about it, Emma said, "My dad is the one who loves me all the time, and my other dad is the one who made me but doesn't know me yet." Kids have a way of cutting through the complexity to what really matters. Sarah's family, who initially sided with her, have started reaching out to me. Her sister confessed that she'd had suspicions about Michael years ago but hadn't wanted to cause problems. It's frustrating to learn how many people had pieces of the puzzle but chose to stay silent. The DNA kits that started all this? I finally opened mine last week. Turns out I'm part Scottish, which explains my unreasonable love of bagpipes. Emma thought this was hilarious and now insists on having Scottish nights where we eat haggis. Well, she attempts to, and watch Brave. Sometimes the best parts of life come from the worst situations. I've started dating again, cautiously. It's strange navigating the dating world as a single dad, especially given my situation. I'm upfront about it. Emma is my daughter, biology be damned, and anyone who can't accept that isn't right for us. Sarah and Michael's plan to move across the country fell apart by February. Their relationship, built on lies and deception, couldn't withstand the scrutiny and consequences. Michael moved without her, claiming she complicated things too much. Sarah now lives in a small apartment across town, working at her parents' business, the only place that would hire her after the scandal became public knowledge. She sees Emma on alternate weekends, supervised by her parents who finally recognize the depth of their daughter's deception. "He doesn't know what kind of cereal I like," she told me recently. Or how to do my hair right. Or anything about me. The hardest moments are still the quiet ones, when Emma asks questions I don't know how to answer. Why did mommy lie? Does Michael love me? Are you sad? I try to be honest while protecting her from the full weight of adult complexities. Last week, during one of these conversations, Emma said something that broke my heart and healed it at the same time. "I'm glad the DNA test showed you're not my real dad, because it means you choose to be my dad anyway." Out of the mouths of babes, right? Life isn't perfect. Sarah and I still struggle to co-parent effectively. Michael's presence complicates things. There are days when the anger and betrayal feel fresh all over again. But then Emma will grab my hand, or tell me about her day, or fall asleep on my shoulder while we watch movies, and I remember what really matters. The truth may have destroyed the family I thought I had, but it helped me build something stronger, a relationship with my daughter based on choice, love, and honesty. And really, isn't that what family should be about? Sometimes the biggest lies lead us to the most important truths. I may not be Emma's biological father, but I'm her dad. And that's a truth worth fighting for. Final update. Michael's drunken confession happened exactly 5 months after the barbecue, 2 weeks after Sarah announced their plans to move. His timing made sense. They had just lost their court battle to relocate with Emma, and he'd been drinking heavily. His revelation about their pre-wedding plans explained so much about those 2 months when Sarah and I were on a break. It wasn't just a period of uncertainty for her, it was a calculated attempt to force a different outcome. I tried to handle it calmly, told him to come back when he was sober, during appropriate hours. He got aggressive, tried to push his way inside. I blocked him, reminded him that the custody agreement had strict rules about visitation. That's when he said something that chilled me to my core. "She was supposed to be mine, you know. Sarah and I had it all planned out. She was going to leave you before the wedding, but then her parents threatened to cut her off if she didn't go through with it. The pregnancy wasn't an accident, we thought it would force her to choose me." I recorded the whole conversation on my phone. The next day, I took it to my lawyer. Sarah and Michael's story about a one-time mistake during our brief breakup was exposed as a complete lie. They had actively tried to conceive, hoping to break up my marriage before it even began. When that failed, Sarah chose financial security over Michael, but kept him in her life secretly all these years. The court has revised our custody agreement in light of this new evidence. Sarah's visitation rights are now supervised, and Michael is barred from any contact with Emma until she's old enough to decide for herself if she wants a relationship with him. Sarah's parents' involvement evolved over time. Initially, they sided with her, suggesting I was overreacting to an old mistake, but their perspective shifted dramatically 3 months after the barbecue when they learned about the long-term deception from Amanda's revelations. Their retirement fund had paid for most of our wedding, and they'd contributed significantly to Emma's early childcare costs. Learning that their daughter had manipulated not just me but them as well changed everything. Mr. and Mrs. Collins came to see me at my apartment one evening in October, 4 months after the barbecue. They brought a stack of legal documents, bank statements showing regular payments Sarah had requested for Emma's activities that actually aligned with dates she'd met Michael, emails she'd sent them lying about our relationship to keep the financial support flowing, even a letter she'd written but never sent to Michael during our engagement, detailing their original plan. "We enabled her," Mrs. Collins said, her voice shaking. "We thought we were helping her build a family, but we were just funding her deception." That's when they offered to set up the trust fund for Emma, not out of guilt, they insisted, but because they wanted at least one part of this mess to be honest. Emma and I are moving next month to a new house, away from the neighborhood where everyone knew our story, away from the whispers and pitying looks. She's excited about decorating her new room. We're doing a space theme, with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling and planet mobiles she made herself. Yesterday, she asked me if she could stop using Sarah's last name and take mine instead. "You're my real parent," she said. "The one who chose me." We're looking into the legal process for that now. The DNA kits that started everything had arrived in November, about 6 weeks before the barbecue. Lucy had bought them during a Black Friday sale, excited about the family genealogy project she'd been planning. Sarah's nervousness about them had grown increasingly obvious as Christmas approached. She'd accidentally spilled coffee on the first kit, then claimed she'd misplaced the replacement Lucy sent. By the time of the barbecue in early January, Lucy had brought the third set, determined to complete her family tree project. Looking back, I can track Sarah's increasing anxiety through December, the sudden migraines when Lucy brought up the project, her insistence that we wait until after the holidays, her careful attempts to ensure she was always too busy when Lucy visited. The DNA kits now sit in my desk drawer, a reminder of how truth finds its way out. Emma's kit remains unopened, a choice she can make when she's older. Mine finally got processed last month, revealing not just Scottish ancestry but connections to distant relatives who've reached out with warmth and support. Sometimes I look at old photos from before the barbecue, see how happy we all looked, and feel a pang of loss for that innocent time. But then I remember, it was never real. What Emma and I have now, though? This is real. This is true. This is family. The betrayal nearly broke me, but it also showed me what I'm made of. I'm not just Emma's father because I choose to be, I'm her father because I fought to be, because I stayed when it would have been easier to walk away, because I put her needs above my pain. Sarah's lies took away the family I thought I had, but they gave me something stronger, the knowledge that love isn't about blood or biology or legal documents. It's about choices, about showing up, about being there through the hard times and the good ones. And you know what? That's worth more than any DNA test could ever tell me. P.S. Emma just walked in as I was finishing this update. She asked what I was writing about. Our story, I told her. She thought for a moment, then said, "Make sure you tell them that happy endings don't always look like what you expect. Sometimes they're better." Smart kid, my daughter.